Hello, my dear friends. Svetlana Shlopak at ukvisasuccess.com is here. British spouse visa applications can be refused for a great variety of reasons, but from my experience, I've noticed that couples actually struggle with the financial part, and it can be refused generally for three reasons. The first one is couples simply do not meet the financial requirements. The second one is when they fail to provide enough information to prove that they meet the financial requirements, and the third one is when they did not provide enough documents. So I decided to create a video series which will consist of 6 parts, where I will be explaining how to cover the evidential part of the financial requirements elements of your British spouse visa applications. This particular video number 1, will cover the general rules. So let us begin.
Guys, and before I start this video, I wanted you to know that this video is actually an extract from the online course, which is called How to Meet the Financial Requirements of Your British Spouse Visa Application when applying from outside the UK. For more information and to find out what the first 4 lessons are all about, you're very welcome to click the link below this video. Okay, now let us talk about the documents which you will need to submit in support of your spouse visa application. It will probably make sense if we start with the general rules which apply to all categories, and there are quite a few of these rules. First of all, you need to remember that irrespective of the type of income you're relying on, you have to understand that all payments and all the cash savings and all the documents, all the bank statements will need to be either under your control or under the control of your partner. They also allow for the assets or for the income or for the bank statements to be in both names. So no third parties are allowed here unless some exceptional circumstances apply. It's either you or your partner, or it's you and your partner. And there are several rules with regards to the bank statements. First of all, there is a very strict rule. All the statements, all the bank statements and your money will need to be held in the institution which is recognized by the Home Office. The organization in the UK which supervises all the banks is called Financial Conduct Authority. So in order for you to find out whether or not the bank is regulated by FCA, you're very welcome to visit this website. Just click search and this is how you'll find out. And if you have a foreign bank, you will need to make sure that this is in compliance with the Appendix Finance. And then they also say that the bank statements will need to be on the official bank stationery. And will they accept electronic bank statements? The answer is yes, provided you submit them together with a letter from your bank, which very clearly confirms that this is a genuine statement, and they stamp it. They put a stamp, the official stamp, on each page of the electronic statements, and also the letter from the bank is on the headed paper and is signed and ideally stamped as well. So as long as you support the electronic bank statements by the letter, this will also be acceptable. What if you do not have bank statements? Does the Home Office accept any other evidence? The answer is yes. If you have the Building Society book, which has the account number and the Building Society's name and logo and the information required for transactions, this will be acceptable, or a letter on a headed paper from the Home Office which confirms the account number, and it should also have the name and the logo of the institution. It should have the date and also some information which is required to undertake a transaction. So it can either be the Building Society passbook or a letter on the headed paper from the bank. And also there are rules with regards to the documents which are not in English language. If you are submitting something which is not in English language, you'll need to make sure that, first of all, you are submitting the documents in a native language together with full certified translation. And you'll need to make sure that this certified translation has documents which will allow the Home Office to undertake their independent verification. And also they will need to put a date and confirm when they've translated these documents. And also they have to have a confirmation that it is an accurate translation of the documents. It will need to have the full name and the signature of the translator or some other authorized official. Also, it has to have the translator's company's contact details. Guys, just to warn you that even where the information is very clearly indicated in numbers, you still have to ask someone to make an official translation of these documents. And even if you have someone who will be able to do this quite professionally for you, but the person is not a certified translator, unfortunately this will not be acceptable by the Home Office, and this can be the sole reason for the refusal of your application. So please make sure that whenever you're submitting the documents which are not in English language, even if there are only a few words which are not in English language, please make sure that these are properly translated. And also we have the rule which I called the 28-day rule, and this particular rule exists in many immigration routes, and let me explain what this rule is about. According to the rules, where Appendix FM requires the applicant to provide specific evidence relating to a period which ends with the date of the application, that evidence or the most recent dated part of it must be dated no earlier than 28 days before the date of the application. So let me give you an example. Let's say someone wants to make an application on 1st of, let's say, March. Then they will need to make sure that the statement which they submit is, the one is from February, so no later than 1st of February, because if it is not, it will not be accepted. So you need to make sure that it's no more than 28 days old. And the next general rule about the documents, I've called this the genuineness factor. This is a really big one. Needless to say that all the documents which you need to submit in support of the application will need to be genuine one. And the caseworker may do two things if they think that the document is not genuine. If they can prove that the document is not genuine, they can refuse the application on the grounds of deception. However, if they cannot prove that the document is not genuine, they can just simply disregard it for the purposes of making the application. So please make sure that everything you are submitting is genuine. And then we have another general rule which is called evidential flexibility. And according to the Home Office guidance, there is a discretion for decision makers to defer an application pending submission of some missing evidence or the correct version of it within the reasonable deadline set for it. Decision makers will not have to defer where they do not think that correcting the error or omission would lead to a grant. And also decision makers are allowed to grant the applications despite some minor evidential problems with the application. Guys, this is in theory. In practice, I strongly encourage you to ensure that you submit all the necessary documents in support of the application, and also you avoid some minor evidential problems with the application. Please make sure that the application is perfect to stack all the odds in your favor. And also another very, very important rule with regards to foreign currency. This one is a big one because it causes lots of confusion. I would like to clarify it here. So whenever we have some currency which is not in British pounds, what the Home Office will do, they will convert the amount using this website, www.oanda.com. And this is the only site which they will be using. And the rates which they will take into consideration will be on the date when the application is made. And according to the Home Office guidance, any fluctuation in exchange rate prior to the date of application will be completely disregarded. The decision maker will base the conversion of the foreign currency income or cash savings into sterlings on the exchange rate as at the date of the application. So that's the only website which they will be using. And the final general rule which I identified and which I think is very important for you to know is about the excluded institutions. You will need to have your account with an institution which is regulated by the Financial Services Authority or the equivalent of as such. And you'll also need to make sure that the financial institution does not appear on the list of excluded institutions under Appendix Finance of the immigration rules. So if you have bank account abroad, make sure that this is acceptable by the Home Office. But to be on the safe side, I would probably open another bank account which is recognized by the Financial Services Authority. And if you visit their website, it will take you less than 3 minutes to check if the organization is on the list. I would like to invite you to visit this page, ukvisasuccess.com/more, where you'll find plenty of free immigration resources explaining various immigration rules. And I also invite you to subscribe to a new, very, very succinct and short newsletter where I'll be updating you on various changes in the world of UK immigration law. And also I will be sending various exclusive invitations to the members of ukvisasuccess.com community. You'll only be able to get these offers if you are subscribed to this newsletter. Have an amazing week, guys.